Hi, I'm Stella and welcome back to Chasing Waters. Here I'm continuing the painting from before. I started off just looking at the painting for a while. Sometimes you just have to sit and look at it. But it's the importance of intentional action, of not rushing to do something. It's the same thing I like to apply to my life, that it's important to take a step back and look at the things from another perspective, or simply just outside of the current action that you're making. When I film these videos, I naturally show when I'm painting, because it's a painting video. But I think it's important to remember that although you paint for several hours consecutively, there are also a lot of pauses in between where I just stop, just to check in with myself, to see if I actually like what I'm making, to reflect on the previous action and sing to a song, apparently, and to reflect on the future actions. And those parts are also super important in my painting process. And I like to use the same practice for my life as well. To remember to stop, to reflect on where you have been, where you're currently at, and where you want to go. At this point of the video, I think I just felt like showing off my biceps, those gains from the gym. No, I'm just kidding. I was just avoiding getting paint on myself. And later I got paint on my trousers, so yeah, it didn't work. When you're constantly in the state of doing something, it becomes harder to see the whole situation for what it actually is. It's like being in the middle of a storm. There are too many things to pay attention to, too many things happening. You're in a constant state of action. And now that we're talking about action, if you haven't subscribed or liked the video yet, I am giving you a golden opportunity to do so right now. But back to the storm. It's when you get outside of the storm that you're able to see its impact, where it's headed, how strong or impactful it actually is. A philosophy I like to bring to my work life and my personal life is the time of reflection, of a pause, when you're intentionally choosing an action rather than doing an action out of habit. That's really when you're able to change the direction of where you're heading. Without that, you might be going too far into one direction. That initially might have been a great idea, but most ideas need some adjustments here and there. It's like the saying, and correct me if I'm wrong when I'm describing this, it's like when they say when you miss out on 1 degree on your compass, it can end up taking you somewhere completely different. And it's true. And you need to check in on those adjustments because life is always in motion. I make all of my illustrations and animations with my Procreate art brushes that you can download for free in the link below. I've done a ton of adjustments with this painting, for example. I had an initial idea of how I wanted it to look like, of the colors I wanted to use, but already when I was painting the first layer, I ended up liking the color palette of the sketch and chose to go that way instead. And some decisions were not defined until later. And I knew I would have to make those decisions later based on what direction the painting was headed. It's really about not being too stubborn when it comes to the process and your initial idea of what it will look like, and also your idea of what the end product will look like. And sometimes you end up exactly with the end product that you expected, but the process to get there was unexpected. Pausing in the process gives your intuition a chance to react, of analyzing the current situation and feeling what direction it wants to take you. Sometimes I guess I need to tilt my head to see the painting in a new way. Sometimes I even leave my seat to see if I can see it from a different perspective. Because many times when you see things from a further perspective, it makes more sense, or you can see mistakes that you couldn't see previously. You might see things you didn't notice before. You can see the bigger picture. As you can see here, the pause also gives you time for a bit of a dance break. And sometimes if you feel stuck on something, go for a walk, or continue the next day, or take a dance break. Get out of your head and move so you can get fresh ideas. Sometimes you've just been staring at it for way too long and your eyes need a break to actually see it for what it is. At this point, I was just looking at all the paint I would need to fill out this whole space and realized I would save a lot to just do the background with acrylic first because it's already in acrylic, and then go over with the red oil paint later. So that's what I did. Still not finished. I have to wait for the acrylic to dry and also paint over the rest of the background. I also have a few things that I need to correct on the actual painting, but the oil needs to dry for that to happen, so I'll have to wait a few days to be able to continue. But this is how it's looking so far. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, I want to thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you next time.